with Nitin Parekh. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to chat to you about SEMI's Global Smart Manufacturing Conference that's coming up next week, and really just explore initially what was the motivation behind developing the idea. What was SEMI looking to achieve with that specific event?
Again, SEMI has a group called Smart Manufacturing, right? And they've been, I think last 3-4 years, they've been organizing at SEMICON. They have a separate pavilion at SEMICON West, and then other events too, I think. And then the rest of the SEMI, I think, world in Taiwan and China, all they're catching up on smart manufacturing currently. And the whole idea is to educate more people on what the smart manufacturing is, why do we need it, what are the benefits of those, and those are the things that they're doing it. Like this year, we had the SEMICON West, that's also, they had more smart manufacturing and more companies are getting involved in that area too. And with this current webinar that we were trying to do a first global virtual smart manufacturing conference out here. And again, as it says, the three main pillars of this conference is sensing, connecting, and then the predicting. So that is where the whole smart manufacturing is going in. That it's all data-driven, more data analytics, because before we used to collect all those kinds of data, but didn't know what to do it. And now the whole factories are getting data-driven, and that's the direction everybody's going in. That we'll see more and more data analytics and see how we can improve. At the end of the day, everybody's looking to improve the efficiency. How do you get more products out of it? The same, investment, same tools that we have, and how do you make it more efficient? And that's why I think the sensing is the lowest level where we start the data, the source of the data happening, collect all that and feed it into a secured network, into some kind of a central server. And from there, you can do a lot more predicting, AI, ML, all of the next generation things, more algorithms are getting written on those areas. So that's where I feel like it's going to happen more. So that's why in this particular webinar, we're going to be talking about sensing, connecting, and predicting.
Yeah, and when I look at the subheading, sensing, connecting, and predicting, for capturing the ROI of smarter manufacturing, I think the ROI thing is essential because people really want to, when they look at smart manufacturing, they need to know where the dividend's coming from. Where is that digital transformation dividend, and where are OEMs, manufacturers, customers, where are the various stakeholders going to drive value? When you look at the conference content, is that something that's important in terms of one of the takeaways, the people that need to understand why they're doing it as well as how to do it?
Exactly. So some of the case studies that is going to be, so again, this is going to be a keynote speaker, a tutorial. So that is something new also that we're going to be teaching all of those three pillars. Like I'm going to talk a little bit on sensing area. So that's where the tutorial is going to be, right from where the sensors, how they build, what are the needs for the sensors. And then again, single levels and then the multifunction sensors also are getting built. And in the case studies, we have set up pretty much the guidelines. So like the objectives, challenges that they face, approach that they took, the benefits, the results, and the ROI. At the end of the day, you want to see that if the management is investing into this, what's my ROI? How long it takes for me to get the returns on that? So that is a very important factor that we told every speakers that we want to get something when you do a case study.
Yeah,
want to look at the ROI also.
Yeah, and what's the evidence that supports that? And when you are promoting the event, what kind of audience are you expecting? Who are the key stakeholders within a manufacturing company or within a manufacturing ecosystem that need to be attending this kind of event and learning?
Right from the engineering, from the production floor areas, the supervisors, the managers, the running the plant, directors of that, and all the way up to the executive levels too, because they want to see if they want to move into this area, what are the things available out in the world, and what are the case studies will tell us that which fabs have already implemented and which ones are going in that direction also. So we're looking a wide range of audience, and it's also covering the wide range. Like the keynote speakers are going to be talking more, and they're from IBM, Deloitte, Rockwell, major companies, Inficon. So a lot of those companies, also the executive levels, are going to give the keynote speaks, and then getting into the tutorial and case study. We have also involved people like professors from the universities to see what they have done and how they got implemented into the industry. Also, they were trying to find a relation between a research which was done and then got into the industry, and how they work very closely with the industry. Also, it's not just a research paper, but the implementation portion into the real world also. So those are the things that we're trying to focus. So even the students who wants to know about it, the smart manufacturing, that would also be a good audience to understand also. So
yeah,
be a wide range, and pretty excited to see as the registrations are going on. And it's been a work of last almost 6 months that we're putting this together.
Yeah.
Few times we start about live and then to virtual, and finally I think we are going to virtual, and that's the way I think things are happening.
Yeah, and I think that's the way things are going. It's not just this event, it's other events. You're seeing CES go virtual, South by Southwest next year will go virtual. So we'll see more and more of these, and actually it gives you the opportunity to reach a global audience from, you know, from the comfort of your own study at home, or your own library, or wherever you're working
wherever
from.
you are.
So,
and
yeah,
so that also adds up into why the smart manufacturing, the data collection is very important now. You don't have to go to the factory. You can be sitting home, monitor the dashboard or the information, how you present it out, and see how those factories are running. So it's getting more important to get the connectivity in place and get the secure networks, and with the cloud or their own local private clouds or servers.
yeah.
It's more and more getting important.
Yeah, and when you look at the industries that have embraced smart
Still
manufacturing,
monitor how the things are working.
yeah, sorry, when you look at industries that have embraced smart manufacturing, do you think semiconductor is ahead of the curve, or do you think it's kind of following other industries? Where do you think it sits?
I think semiconductor is following in one way, especially with all the IPs and other things. They're still not open up to put the data onto the cloud. They're slowly opening up, but they are collecting the data. They used to collect data a lot more with connectivity with MES and ERP, and a lot more manual. But now I think they're seeing that benefits from the other industries. So they're still moving, and people are getting into a place where they can collect data, put it into the local servers and their own private networks. That's where I think they will be. I see in another 3-4 years, a lot more semiconductor fabs will be going into that direction.
Yeah, will be much more data driven. And it's interesting to see the mix of speakers you've got when you look at companies like Rockwell and IBM in terms of the, you know, the OEMs that are buying semiconductor, but you've also got organizations like Deloitte that have got a lot of cross-industry experience in terms of applying smart manufacturing. Was that deliberate when you were designing the kind of keynote roster?
Yes, exactly. That was one of the reasons we wanted to bring the perspectives from the other industries, what they think about and what their research are, what their marketing is from Deloitte. So that was one of the things that we looked at it first thing. That's okay, let's get somebody who across the board can give us a better perspective of where the smart manufacturing is going. So it helps from the semiconductor also where we should be going, what the implementation, what the case studies are done outside. So yeah, that was.
And those overall trends are hugely important and hugely valuable, and we can all learn from other industries. And speaking of learning, if I'm attending the event, what do you think the key takeaways should be? What do you think I should be leaving the event feeling more comfortable about and
More
having learned?
comfortable. Again, understanding of what the smart manufacturing is. The keynote speakers will be talking more, and then the tutorial will give you some ideas about how the implementation from the sensings, from the connecting point also, and the predicting is the main thing where the new algorithms are developed with, how you get more involved with the machine learnings and artificial intelligence. And the case studies will give you the main thing would be the ROI from the case studies, what they implemented. One of the things on the connecting areas are the connecting the legacy tools. A lot of the fabs have those older tools. How do we connect them? How do you bring it up to 4.0, industry 4.0 or smart manufacturing? So that is also one of those presentations where the case study is going to happen and how they are accepting and they're adopting it into the smart manufacturing.
Yeah, and I think that tackling legacy equipment, tackling legacy facilities and bringing those up to speed is a huge part of it. I think that ROI is a huge part of it. When I look at it from anybody that's looking at at a smart manufacturing journey, they want to know where it's going. Is it worthwhile in terms of ROI? Right. But they need to understand what are the building blocks? What do I need to do now? Correct. What do I need to follow that with? And how does that journey look? And how do I simplify that? And I like that you've presented it as this idea of sensing, because that's a fundamental, connecting everything Correct. Together, that's the next fundamental. And then, you're kind of driving value from there with the predictive analysis and the right. digital twin models and actually justifying that with a solid return on investment is going to satisfy the C-suite as well. So there's something for everybody, isn't there?
Exactly. And that's what the try is, to do that. And hopefully everybody gets something out of this whole 3-day webinar that we're trying to do. And then there is a breakout sessions where the people can go interactively. For each session, we have a breakout for about 30 minutes where the team would come in and interact with everybody, what they got out of the presentation, what they like to see, what they want to see more details. So that is also the third part of it, the tutorial, case study, and the breakout session also. So combining all that.
Yeah, and those are hugely valuable, the chance to interact with people that have had similar experiences. And I think, this is one of the trends we're seeing with these virtual events where we can do so much more with them. So there's huge there. Nitin, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for talking to me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to next week's event, and we'll be doing some follow-up interviews after that.
Okay, that'd be great. Again, thanks again, Phil, for your time. I know it's too early for you.